Yeah. The Ramo said that although the Mechaber says that the last parsha, which is Voyim Shema, has to be Stuma, the meaning Ashkenaz is we have a Psucha. Right? We spoke about this. He says even though it's only B'di'evid, the Yesh Machshirin only validated B'di'evid, it's not L'chatchila. Nevertheless, the minig Ashkenaz is even L'chatchila, they write the closing parsha as a psucha, not as a stuma. That means they start the last paragraph on top, the beginning of the line, the last parsha. Okay? So you want to explain it. We just over here, Kuf Samach, Ubdina Seilu, V'av L'chatchila mitzlasosos a stuma, Gam La Yesh Machshirin. I mean, if even the Yesh Machshirin, as we said, they say that's only B'di'evid. Mechaber says it's possible. The Yesh Machshirin say it's kosher B'di'evid. Post facto is valid. So if it's valid on a post facto, but how should you preferably write it? Not this way. Not as a stuma, not as a psuch, as a stuma. So he says, that's his question. So it's an inappropriate minog. Nevertheless, he records this. The Kevon Shoikaru should be the B'di'evid kosher b'chol inyan. Since B'di'evid is definitely kosher, it's valid, not like the Mechaber says. The Efshel Lasos Stuma Dever Hakol, and not everybody can make it stuma for whatever reason. The different sofrim. Yesh Lachzik Ba'minig Hazeh Kedei Shlosi Lazal Rishonim. Not to invalidate all the tefillin that were written as a psucha, because it's for some reason so difficult to work out. Therefore, the minig Ashkenazim was that the B'di'evid became l'chatchila. That's called l'chatchila. Kein Kozmog and Avram Shem ha'alechem chamudos, alum divrei ha'levush v'agro, but he says the Levush, who's a student of the Ramah and the Vilna Gaon say, sheyosed of lasos k'mo shekosem shulchan aruch. That's B'di'evid. If you write the last parsha as a psucha, it's B'di'evid. But how should the Sofer preferably write the last parsha, as the Mechaber says? As a stuma, not as a psucha. That's the Vilna Gaon. Nogimaf. V'chein b'tfilim Rabbeinu Tam yasek gam kein kulam psuchos. Tfilim Rabbeinu Tam. V'av shekos voyim shemo achashma. Right, that's the difference between Tfilim Rabbeinu Tam. What's the difference? It's the same parshas. We're talking about the order. According to Rashi, the closing parsha is voyim shemo, like in the Torah, Shema voyim shemo. According to Rabbeinu Tam, it's all based on the Gemara. Shema is the closing parsha. It concludes, because Shema is the most important, it concludes with Shema, that paragraph. So, but according to Rashi, that's not the proper order. It's not proper. It's not, the tefillin are valid. They're not kosher tefillin. Okay? Kilakama simin lamedal, Mishna Berura, Ksif Cotton Gimel. Yaniach kishir tesosios ach al oretz. So according to that, normally we said, according to the Mechaber, according to Ramah, the last parsha could end at the end, right? But he says, but now that the third parsha is Voyim Shemoah, so when you Al Oretz, you have to leave nine letters, right? The equivalent of 9 letters. Shekosa par Shema, Maska b'tchil sa'omud b'rosh hashito, and Shema in Tfilim Rabbeinu Tam, you start at the very beginning of the column. Maschil b'rosh. Okay, now we're back to the Mechaber. Let's get back to the Mechaber. Parsha Shema Maschil B'roshito, because the Mechaber says is a psucha. So the paragraph of Shema you write at the beginning of the line. We're on page 103. Ubesof Kaddish Li Ubesof Voyim Shmo Meiniche Cholok Kedei Lichtov Tes Osios. For a Parsha B'psucha, you're supposed to have a space of 9 letters separating between one parsha and the other, right? No, where it ends. No, the psucha is on top. Psucha starts on top, but the previous, on the bottom, there were 9 letters, a space of 9 letters separating between one and the other.
So the bottom is called stuma or psucha?
We have 9 letters on the bottom. Before we start the next one, that's called psucha. Psucha. Okay? Ubesof Shema, Eimenicha Cholok. Right? Because since the last closing parsha is a stuma, according to the Mechaber, so therefore you don't leave You don't leave that's unwritten parchment of 9 or of any, because the last one is going to be indented. It's going to be indented 9 letters, right? According to, so Vohim Shemo is, where do you start it? Not at the beginning of the line, at the beginning of the column. You indented 9 letters, and then you start writing Vohim Shemo. It's open on the right side. So really, he says, according to Mechaber, if it's not a stuma, it's possible, right? What happens if you left less than 9 letters? 9 letters, that's a bona fide stuma. 9 letters. He says, what about if you left less than 9? Who pochas b'lichtov tesosius, u'parshas voim shemo maschilin v'menichin who pochs b'chadei lichtov tesosios. I don't know what you mean. He says you should leave 9. So shma'im menichim cholok, okay? V'menichim, he says, and if you do leave, it should be less than 9, right? That's what he says. Between shma and shmoah, you don't leave anything, and you indent the upper. But if you do leave, it should be less than 9. Of course, less than 9 is not a psucha. You following? No. On the bottom, the previous parsha. Really, you shouldn't leave anything, and you just indent the last one when you begin. But he says if you did leave cholok, less the way he worked it out, there's going to be some unwritten parchment. Make sure it's less than 9 letters, so you have to elongate the letters, right? If he wasn't careful, and there's just too much parchment left, so he has to see at the end when he's finishing up that last line of Shema, that he elongates the letters to make sure that they're going to be less than a space that you can write 9 letters.
Have that 9-letter space in the middle of the line, so that the previous paragraph will end in the middle of the line, and the next paragraph starts in the middle of the line, and in between the two, there's a big space.
Let's finish the Mechaber, and then we'll talk about what is Sefer Torah. Parshas Voyim Shemoah Maschilim be'emtza Shita Elyona, right? Because the Voyim Shemoah is a stuma, so you don't begin at the beginning of the line. You start in the middle of the line. Be'emtza Shita Elyona. U'meiniach lefoneh cholok k'dei lichtov tesosios. And how much unwritten parchment do you leave before you start to write v'hoyo? A space where in that space you can write 9 letters. V'nimtza sheshlosha parshios. Heim psuchos. So the first 3 parshas are classified as psuchos. Bein la ram, bein la rosh. Upasha achrono hi stumam das Rambam. We don't know the Ram and the Rosh. He didn't explain who they were. Who's the Rosh? He says, and the last parsha is a stum according to the Rambam. Could be this is the Yish Machshirin. Right, the Machshirin. According to the Rosh, he holds that you could write even the last one could be a psucha. Right? See, the first 3 are psuchas according to Rambam and Rosh. The last one is a stuma according to the Rambam. That's the reason why the Mechaber rules like the Rambam. That's why he says if you wrote the last one as a psucha, that's why it's possible. The Ramah rules like the Rosh. So if you rule like the Rosh, that b'diavad it's valid. If it's a psucha, even the last one. Okay? Well, what do you mean? What that the Mechaber said? 9 indented 9 letters. That's considered a stuma.
It starts on a separate line.
On top.
Okay.
If the previous one ends with 9 letters,
Yeah.
and that means that's a stuma. That means now you start the next one right at the beginning of the line. That's a psucha. That's a psucha. That's a psucha. Because it was open before, therefore you could start at the beginning. But if it's less, that means it's not open before. That's why you have to indent the next one.
9 letters.
Has to be indented 9 letters.
Even though there was, let's say, 4 on the
No, you don't combine them.
Don't combine.
Right.
What if there's more than 9 letters?
So not a problem.
Not an issue.
Right. It has to be minimally 9. Okay. As David said, we're running late to have to do some sharing.
Rashi told what then? What Rashi or Rebbeinu Tam?
No, the last two parshas. What does it close with? They switch. It's interesting. If you wear Rabbeinu Tam's tefillin, you're not Yotzi tefillin. We ruled Rashi's tefillin is the right order. In a bag, from the outside, you don't know the difference. If a person sometimes, accidentally switches the tefillin, usually it says on tefillin by Rabbeinu Tam, so you know. And sometimes they put it on the box, the outer box, also to identify. But if somebody is careless, leaves his tefillin on the table, and somebody puts it in the Rashi box, the person for the rest of his life is not going to be Yotze tefillin. Because the only way you know is you have to open the tefillin to see exactly, and the shel yad see it clearly. Right? Because it closes, the closing parsha is...
It's sewn, the little knot, the thread is in a different place on the shel rosh. The shel yad, I don't know what it is, but on the shel rosh, it's in a different place on the Rebbeinu Tam.
Never
You have to remember.
Never noticed.
In Russian film, let's say, between the first and second parsha, there's a little thread sticking out, and the Rebbeinu Tam film is it's the place where it's switched to.
Okay.
But on the shel yad, I don't know what it is.
Good to know.
Even though it seems like you wanted to remove the Ramaz of
No, he said the Goyin, the Vilna Gaon holds. No. There's like little hairs coming out. If you look at it,
a little knot at the end, in one place. And it'll be in a different hole. The knot will be in a different hole. So you don't have to open it. But on the shel yad, I don't know.
we left off on 77, and this is something everybody needs a little upgrading in. We left off about Shmir Shabbos, Nikius, to really observe Shabbos properly. Notice a person says, I don't violate any one of the Lamates Malachos, even though the rabbinical laws is what about Muktzah? People sometimes are careless when it comes to Muktzah. No, you put on your Shabbos suit and then you realize, because you went out the previous Shabbos, there was something in the pocket, and you take it out. Sometimes you could shake it out, sometimes you can't shake it out. It depends. If it's a pocket that's sewn into the pants, the pants don't become a bosses. But if it's like a shirt pocket, where the back of the pocket is the shirt it becomes a bosses. You can't wear that shirt. Okay? The various halachas. It's considered muktzah. But what about the subject matter of speech? What do you discuss at the table? Right? Person discusses a business transaction that you've done, a purchase. What about you talk about a vacation you took? And that's the discussion of Shabbos. Is that Shabbos talk? Or we're talking about Nikius. We're not saying they're necessarily in violation of Shabbos, but are you really fully in order in terms of proper subject matter to discuss at the table?